everybody, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to use Gilding Flakes, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I have used several colors in this one. As you can see, this is a dragon. I think the design is absolutely gorgeous, and I've used different colors in here. So as you can see, depending on how you put the image, whether the light is coming from, is going to change a little bit. And I've composed the colors, and I'm going to show you this in a second, and I will put the links where I bought these Gilding Flakes. They're probably if you live in the United States or maybe other countries, you'll find them somewhere else. I just couldn't find exactly what I wanted here, so I'll show you that. That will be in the description box below. So this is the stencil I've used. We're gonna use different ways to do that, and I will probably do another video because there are many more ways to use Gilding Flakes. So this is stencil, and this is what I came up with. I'm going to show you also the glues that I used. Here it's another technique using a stamp. It's this one here. It's a quite bold stamp. I think it's easier to use that. That's the design. It's supposed to be a bamboo plant that I have here. This one is really old, and I put some tape there to stick it. So this is what I came up with, and there's some spots missing. You can see a little bit of the glue. So depending on the glue and also on the paper, and I'll explain later, it's going to work better. This was something else. It was using this stencil, a leaf, and I think I put a little bit too much, so I lost a little bit of details. So again, it's a trial. You know, it's the first time I use Gilding Flakes, so that's a try at least. And this is another way where I've used a cutout of a die that I have to put on top. So we're going to use different techniques today. So I have bought recently this gilding paste, and actually this one is very liquidy. It's a very good brand. It's PBO, but this is not working on paper because the paper is going to absorb it too quickly because it's very liquidy. This is good, for example, if you want to cover up something that is not as porous, like wood, for example. Even if it's varnished already, that will work perfectly, or on metal, because it will be a non-porous surface. When I try to use it on paper, I'm going to show you maybe an example. Do I still have it here? It didn't work out, so I covered up, but it was supposed to be I've covered up. Yeah, it's maybe not the best example I have here, but it didn't work that much because the liquid seeped through the paper, and I didn't have the details. It's like if you were using stencils and watercolor and you were just pouncing there, it would seep through and it wouldn't work. So I'm going to show you what I have really used, and it's tacky glue. So the first trials, other the designs that you saw here, was using this tacky glue. That's a very cheapo brand that I found here, but this time I'm going to use the Aleene's tacky glue, the original one, and I think it's going to work as well. What you need to use is something that is quite thick, and maybe you have also like tacky embossing powder that would work for that because it stays sticky, and that would work nice. And we're also going to use double-sided tape. This is what I have used here. So I'm going to start on black. You can use black or white. We'll do different tries to see what's your preference. And for this time, the first one here, I'm going to use this butterfly. And you know what? I'm going to use it on white because later I will use black. I think it shows up on black much better. So I'm going to put this stencil here, and I'm going to use a makeup sponge, a little wedgie like this, and make sure that when you stop using it, you clean it really thoroughly with some soapy water. So I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use also, I'm going to use this as a plastic to put my tacky glue inside here. So I will be able to pounce it off. So a little bit on this wedgie. It's really tacky. And I'm going to pounce just like so. I probably should have taped it down. I'm going to do that right now, actually, because I'm afraid that if I don't do that, it's not going to work as well. I can't put my hands everywhere around here. So that's much better. and pounce. You could probably do this also with this kind of tool. That would be good too. And I'm going to be quite generous here. And I'm not going to wait a very long time before putting my flakes on. Just a little bit, so it dries a little, but it's going to still stay tacky. And just put some on top. Make sure you really go into all these little crevices. So I'm going to take that away now. And I would immediately rinse off and clean up the stencil. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I think you can see it this way. Yeah, so I'm going to clean this up very quickly. And I'm going to put this aside for a second. Now for the next project, I'm going to use, I can still go with some white because we're going to cover it up completely. Let me take a little bit of this off. Okay. And this time I'm going to use double-sided tape. So I've got a very large one here. You can have, big sheets. That's the only thing I have. So that's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to cover up my card. This is maybe a little smaller than a regular A2 size card, so that doesn't really matter. I'm going to cut it off. All right. I'm going to burnish it down, and I'm going to use my scissors for this. It's going to be a little messy, but don't worry too much about it. And I already take this part off because I'm going to overlap it just slightly and do the same thing on the rest of my paper. And I overlap it just because I don't want to have any gaps. And now I'm going to put this aside for just a few seconds and I'm going to show you what I have used. So I ordered these and I've got 3 of them. I'm expecting a little bit more. I bought these, I'm going to go back a little bit, zoom out. I bought these on AliExpress and I will put the links below. So I hope you'll be able to see this. But this one, for example, is mostly copper, but you have many other colors in here. You've got some green and pink and another kind of copper, different, it's like iridescence. I hope you'll be able, the camera will be able to pick it up, but you'll probably see this a little better. This one has mostly kind of greenish, dark bluish color, and there's also a little bit of pink. I'm sure you can see that as well around here. So it's very nice depending on how, you can see the red part there. Very interesting. And this one is more on the greenish side with also a little pink, a little bit of this gold is much lighter. It's more a yellow gold. You have a little bit of copper and you've got some purple as well, and some burnt sienna color here. And this is beautiful. So what I would do here, and it costs about $8 to $9, and there's a whole bunch in here. It's only 10 grams, but a little goes a long way. And you're not going to lose anything. So I would consider taking a plastic with a lid on it, so everything's going to stay in here because it's going to blow. So don't sneeze, don't breathe too hard, and close all your windows because it's very, very lightweight. So these are just flakes. And I'm just going to separate them here. I'm really not using a lot. And you can do, what I like with this technique is that you can really choose what colors you're going to use. I have another one with just silver. And these, normally these come in sheets like this. Oops. They come in sheets like this. And it's the same thing, but these are already in flakes. And these are double-sided sheets. Sometimes they are silver on one side. And to let you know right now, all the sheets like this or the flakes you can find in your favorite craft stores are not real gold or real silver. It's just metal that has a different color to it. So it's not real gold. If it was to be a real gold, just one sheet that I showed you that was about 15 by 15 centimeters, 6 by 6, one sheet would be between maybe $5 to $10, because if it was real gold. I don't know the price if it was silver, but just to let you know. So what does that mean? That means that over time it's going to change color. So if you're using this, for example, into pieces of jewelry, if you want to embed this into resin, the color is probably going to stay like that because it's going to be trapped in the resin and it's not going to change color, but it's going to oxidize with the air. So if you're using this directly onto a piece of jewelry that you want to put some gilding flakes on it, if you don't want it to go, I'm not going to say bad, but almost, there are two ways it's going to change. It's probably going to turn either brown or it's going to turn like a greenish color. So if you don't want that, you will need to put a varnish on top. For card making, I'm not really going to bother, but I would bother if it was a piece of jewelry that you want to offer, or even you want to keep, or if it was for sale. If you want it to last a long time, these one are just plain gold. I would really consider putting a varnish on top, whether it's matte or glossy, it doesn't really matter, but make sure to trap all the air. I mean, not trap, but protect it from air, from oxidization. And what I'm going to do now is make them a little smaller and mix them all together. So if you have really clean and dry hands, it's not going to stick to your fingers that much. So don't put any cream on your hands before doing this, because you're going to have the flakes sticking to your fingers and it's going to be, you know, a little annoying. So I'm doing this nice mixture here, and it's never going to be exactly the same. This is what I like. And you have all these different colors in here. I think they're just beautiful. A wonderful effect. I'm waiting for another one that is going to be more greenish, and I can't wait to get it. Make sure that it's tinted on both sides. That's important, because again, some of them are silver on one side, and you may end up with having only silver in here. All right. So this is still very shiny. And you can see when I put my finger in here, it sticks to my finger. So I would wait a little bit to do the next step. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to work on another piece of paper. This is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So all of the excess that is going to go on my sheet, I will be able to put it back into my container. And what I'm going to do is just spread it around here onto my double-sided tape. So it seems a light right now, but we're going to take all the excess off. And I'm going to press down. And you'll need a paintbrush, and I'm also going to use a sponge. You can use two different paintbrushes for this. You can use a very soft one, and you can use a stiffer one, like a stipple brush, for example, a stencil brush. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do the rest of the card. Go right up to the edge where I have my double-sided adhesive. And again, I'm going to take all the excess off. And you can use just your fingers. You don't have to have very fancy tools for this. It really doesn't. You don't need to. So especially when you're using the technique with the double-sided tape, you don't have to bother about waiting. It goes much faster. Okay, I think I took a big part of the excess away. And now what you can do is, again, use your fingers, or you can use this kind of sponge. Any sponge will do, a dry sponge, and you're just going to burnish it. It's going to take all this excess away. And I'm not scraping it. I'm not damaging anything. And you can also do the same thing here with your fingers. I think the sponge takes most out of it even better. That's why I'm using this technique. Sorry for the noise. I hope it's not going to bother you too much. And that's all you need to do. And there you go. Can you see all these colors? I hope you will really be able to see. There's a purple here and blue, and there's a darker color there, and all these different kinds of golds and pewter, and it's absolute. Oh, this color here is beautiful. I hope you will be able to see this. I'm trying. Yeah, you've got the reds coming out now. There's not so much green, so this is why I'm really looking forward to get the green to have more autumny colors. Now I'm going to take all this excess away and put it back into my container. And some of it is going to be like powder. See, there's some big flakes, and there's some kind of here that is going to be more like a powder, and it's going to have a different effect. Do I have some here? No, these are big. See here, I've got some big chunks, and I've got some more powder here. And it's nice too to have different textures on your leaf. So depending on what you want, you can put the powder on one side maybe and keep the flakes on the other. But honestly, you can do many more using just this, and we didn't put a lot. So at this stage, when it's over, you can see maybe there's the seam there. So I wouldn't bother too much. I overlapped it a bit too much. You can just overlap it, or be very careful if you put it edge to edge. I'm talking about your double-sided tape. But when I'm going to put this on top, you won't be able to see it. So I'm going to use a little bit of this tacky glue, and I'm going to put it here and there. I'm not going to cover the whole my whole die cut here. Just put it right onto the edge on the frame. That's important. And then I'm going to put some dots here and there on the big areas. And it's a bit expensive when you buy like 2 or 3 and you put maybe $30 in that, $30. But again, it's going to make absolutely gorgeous cards for any occasions. Of course, for Christmas it would be nice, but not only. Okay, and I kept a little frame on the outside here, and I'm just going to try and center it. I think that's good. I'm going to use a paper towel and put it down here. And there you go. And if I need to, I'll still be able to trim up the edges here where I have this. I didn't put my double-sided tape very well, so I'll be able to cut it off. But look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Need to put it down a little bit more. And it's done. And it really was done in minutes. And there is no more tackiness to it. Everything is dry. And it's perfect because it's double-sided tape. Look at this. So you could use white, of course, on it if you wanted to. We're going to go to this next step. And I'm going to show you this with maybe this one, this leaf. No, I'm going to use I've already used the stencils. So now what I'm going to use is stamps. And I'm going to use this one. So I think it's not, if it's too intricate, what might happen is that when you're going to put the glue, because we're going to put the glue directly onto the stamp, and if it's too detailed, you may not see all the details because of the glue that is quite thick, but we're going to make a try. So first I'm going to use this one here, and it's more like an angle, so I'll probably cut it out later because I think I have the dies with this. Or should I use something else? No, I'm going to use this one. So again, I'm going to use same sponge, and I'm just going to try to stay on the raised areas. I'm going to probably put it down. And I'm gonna do this on this cardstock. This paper is probably not the best paper I could have because it's going to drink the glue very quickly. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. I already know how it's going to react. So I think it would be better to put a bit more. And I would go quite quickly, not wait too long. Because my other paper, the one I used before, the white one, where we stencil on top, and by the way, I'm just stopping a little. When you press down, make sure that you don't move your stamp because it tends to slide a little bit because the glue is slippery. So I'm just pressing a little bit, taking it off, and there is my impression. So as you can see here, there's a little blob. So what you can do is take maybe a little toothpick and maybe go in there and take a little bit of your glue off. Use a paper towel and try to give it back a bit more definition. Here and there. I can't really go that far. It's not too bad actually, but I would wait a little bit again to make sure that if I put my glue down, if I put my flakes down, the problem is that it could slip and I could move my design underneath because the glue is going to move on. So I need to make it wait a little bit for it to dry. How is this one going? It's almost good, actually, almost. You know what? I'm still going to try and do it. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to take this again. And I think it's not bad. And I'm going to flicker a little bit of that. And I'm going to press a little bit. Oh, I've got glue on my hands now, on my fingers. And you can see, if I was going to do this on the other one I just stamped, I would probably move the design and would not be good. So I'm pressing down. I'm going to use a very gentle paintbrush. There it is. And I'm going to take all this excess away. And I can see there is a spot missing here. So what I'm going to do first is try to press it down a little bit. And gently, very soft paintbrush, starting to take all this excess away. I can see there is a spot or two that I missed. I'm going to try to put more flakes there. And you have some other tacky glues. Like if I was to use this one, I would not wait for this glue to dry. I would use it immediately, leave the flakes on, wait maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then come back and take all the excess away. So depending on the glue you have, it's not going to work exactly the same way, but give it a try. Maybe don't use a big stamp like this, use something smaller just to give it a try so you won't have any waste. And then you see what works best for you, because it's really important. Depending on the glue, depending on the paper, it's going to react differently. If the paper is really porous or not, and it doesn't look much right now, that's normal. And again, it's supposed to be a butterfly. You can't see it very well. I'm going to leave it dry to make sure that it's going to bond really perfectly. So we've seen this technique that is absolutely gorgeous. And again, you could use one color. We've used the stamp technique where you see here I've got some little areas where I didn't put enough, but it's fine. The stencil one, we're gonna wait a little bit for it to dry. Remember to clean off your stamps also with soapy water. And I'll come back and do this one as I think, it's not that bad. I'm going to do it right now. And I'm going to use a more intricate die and see how it's going to work. So I'm going to take another piece of paper and I'm going to use this very intricate die. As you can see, it's really detailed, very, very fine detail. There is a lot of little details here. So I really don't know how it's going to grab onto it, but we'll see. Again, I'm going to use that same glue and dab on it. And I'm not pressing down. I'm really trying to just stay on the surface here, just on the raised areas, and try not to make big blobs. You're going to see less than what I have done until now because it is more detailed. And because I'm putting less glue, I'm not sure I'm going to make it, I'm going to wait for it to dry. Because again, I'm going to use the same paper, which is very absorbent and is going to seep into the paper, and then I won't be able to glue anything on top. And because it's so detailed, I can't come back over and do it and stamp it another time. It would be impossible. So I'm just going to stick it down. I hope it's going to be enough. Take it away very quickly. Can you see this? It's not even shiny anymore. So let's hurry up. And you'll make your choice. It's nice to see that there are different ways to do so and to give you more options. And again, see what works best for you. Because honestly, the paper is going to make a big difference. Okay, so now I'm going to take my last one here and I'm going to take all the excess off. I've got my coffee cup not far away. I hope there's not too many flakes going in. I'm going to use my sponge again. And very slightly, I'm not pressing down at all. Very light hand there. And remember, this design was with the glue. I still have a little big blob here, but I think it's overall not bad at all. And you can take all this away from the rest of your paper because there's no glue. It's going to go off very well. But even though there's a little thing here and maybe there, but that's normal. That's what I was kind of scared of because it's so intricate. I still think the design is not bad at all. Compared to the stamp here, you see that? So it's normal that in some areas, like here for example, or even here when it's darker, it's supposed to have the glue, especially here, and I think that's where it is around here. There's more glue on it. I still think it's really not bad at all. But this is probably not what I would use normally, even though I think it's nice and we can still see it's a flower or different flowers here with a bud. I would probably use some bolder stamps like this one I showed you previously. So let's take a look now at which one was it? Maybe the butterfly was the first one I did. So I think it's going to be good. Pressing it down, and I'm going to use the sponge again and take all the excess. So you'll see how it goes on white, and then you'll choose which one you prefer. And look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Different colors, different effects, and it's raised because of the glue. It's not completely flat. I really, really like it. There's a little bit missing here, so maybe what I could do is with this fine tip tacky glue, I would probably put more here, wait just a tiny bit for it to dry, put some more. You can do this on small areas like this. It's not a biggie. But the main part of it is really nice. And you can put this on a card, put a nice background. I think this butterfly is absolutely gorgeous. And I really love the effect it has. Okay, and now last one we're gonna do is this one here. I'm gonna take a bit of my brush again, take all this excess away. And I've only waited, it's not even 5 minutes in between. All right. And I would put all this excess back into my container. Oh yes, it's nice. It really is. See this? So there's a part here that is maybe not as shiny. It's where it's more powdery, but it's still very nice. And depending how you look at it, it is very shiny. Oh, I love it. And you can burnish it down a little bit more. And it's gonna bring its shininess back to life if you burnish it. Look at that. I'm gonna show you this. Look at this, how beautiful. And I really hope it's gonna pick up all the colors. It's so nice. I'm crazy about these stuff. It's absolutely wonderful. So you can see the bolder your stamps, the better it is, because if it's too fine, you might lose a little bit of details. And of course, you can use any background to do this and stamp on top. Wait a few minutes, maybe for it to dry, or leave just the flakes on it and let it dry for a few minutes before burnish it down with the sponge. But I absolutely love it. I think it's better on black, but on white it's not bad either. I would take all this little powder off, maybe cut a little bit. I wouldn't fussy cut, but cut it a little bit around here. It's a shame I don't have the die, but I'm gonna probably use my Cricut maker and maybe do something about it. But it's really, really nice. I love the effect. I love the colors. And I hope you will give it a try because it's really easy. It seems a bit, again, expensive when you buy all these colors first. But, you know, again, a little goes a long way and you can make beautiful cards. You're not going to make cards like this every day either. So I think it's worth it. And you can find some brands do it already mixed for you. I just couldn't find them where I live. So I had to, you know, do things a little different and just do it myself. So I can choose and pick the colors I want. So, so beautiful. So please give me some thumbs up if you did like this video and it was inspiring for you. I would appreciate if you would also subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button. And also consider sharing on social medias and leave your comments below if you have any kind of ideas that you would like me to try. Well, leave your message, and if I can do it, if I can find the product, I will do it with a big pleasure. So thank you so much for watching. See you soon and take care. Bye bye.